welcome to the Third Tuesday Conversation, the ELCA Youth Ministry Network's monthly podcast. Our goal is to engage in conversations affirming that youth ministry looks a million different ways in a million different places and with a million different experiences. Hey, everybody, this is Jessica. Good to be back with y'all in the new year.
Yay, Happy New Year. It's Veronica coming to y'all from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
And Happy New Year. This is Alex LaChapelle coming to you from Marquette, Michigan in the Upper Peninsula. We ended last month talking a little bit about Blue Christmas, why the holidays are hard, things like that. And one of the awesome opportunities is when we get to bring people in who are experts or have been thinking and processing the thing that we talked about in layman's terms. And so I'm really excited that somebody was able to come in and give us more breaths of energy. So you know her, I'm guessing. You love her. I know you either do or will. But we're really excited today to have Dawn Trautman with us. Quick bio that I pulled from the bottom of her email, because I'm a professional, is she works for Big Picture Purpose, or she started Big Picture Purpose. What I said it wrong, didn't I?
It's okay. Big picture, big purpose.
Big picture, big purpose. Paul, you can leave it in. I fail sometimes. Creative podcast is something that she's a part of, as well as she's a coach for leaders of churches and nonprofits. Dawn, thank you so much for being with us. And the conversation today is kind of centering around loneliness. Obviously, we're a church that's post-pandemic, but we still are a church that's trying to have conversations about loneliness. You just weren't lonely in the pandemic. I promise you. You've been lonely before the pandemic, and you've been lonely since the pandemic. What drew you into the conversation of loneliness?
Well, of course, it was Todd Bugler who...
He's lonely.
I made a TikTok, walking through Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn, New York. And I passed a church, an Episcopal church. We love them. And it just said on the outside, you don't need to do life alone. We meet at 10. And then there were like pictures of people. And they didn't need to say, come in here for Jesus. Like, people know. It looks like a church. But it just felt so powerful to me. And I thought, why are we sleeping on this? People are lonely, and churches are not sort of marketing that they can solve for loneliness. And it seems insane to me that they're not leading with that every single place, not just St. John's Park Slope. That we can do community so well. And I got very fired up about it. And so Todd Bugler was like, you need to write an article for the Connect Journal on loneliness. And now here we are. I did.
I love it.
Yes.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's, I'm happy to have it be more of a conversation. It's the sort of non-marketing of progressive churches is like a huge soapbox issue for me. So today I want to talk about loneliness, but that is, how does it get out there is also kind of something that I really dwell on. So
beautiful. Well, and I think too, you threw out an Easter egg that I think I pretty much am like, please, Alex, don't forget this. You can write on a church sign. You can write on a bulletin. You don't have to do this alone. We meet at 10 or whatever time your thing. And I think that can be a youth ministry thing, because I think sometimes we are Jesus people saying, did you know we're Jesus people? And people are like, yeah, I definitely knew you were Jesus people.
I got that from the cross on the building. We're good. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's really helpful to remind, just in publicity, sometimes just saying where you meet and what's the object of what you're going to do is something that's helpful for me to remember. And my church lady that does our signs, she's amazing. People will talk to me about it. So I'm like, this is great. I think she'll really latch onto this. And then I'll be like, just leave it up for a while and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I'll be nerdy. I after seminary also got a master's in organizational psychology. And the academic definition of community, churches are doing without trying. It's a consistent group of people who know each other, is a part of the group, meeting at a consistent time and place for a shared purpose. That is how communities are defined through all time of human history as people study them. And churches just are that. And tons of people don't even know it. A couple of stories come to mind. One is a friend of mine that grew up culturally Jewish, but not connected to a congregation or synagogue, anything. Mm-hmm. Her father moved to over 55 community, and this woman came up to her and said, "Oh, I just want to get your number. I have all the adult children's numbers in case something happens. Like, it's not assisted living." And she was like, she actually said, "I think this is what Dawn is talking about, and I never knew." Like, she's nearly 40 and didn't even know neighbors kind of keeping an eye out. And I also was doing a workshop at Salem Lutheran in Glendale, California. Maybe you know it as well. And I, as people arrive, the chit chat, how are you connected? Because some people had invited friends, some were members, and this woman said, it almost makes me cry, like her daughter had been at a sleepover, and then the family came to church the next morning and brought the daughter, and she must have talked to somebody because a few weeks later that girl, the member, was getting confirmed. So the mom brought the daughter, and somebody said to the daughter, "How was your soccer game?" And the mother just was like, no one has ever tracked her like that, like some random church lady. And so they joined the church because of that one lady.
I love that.
That's fantastic.
So it's not even hard.
It's not.
But people don't even know it's in there.
Yeah. And people crave that connection, right? That belonging, that, the cheers, right? For our older folks listening.
Yeah.
The place where everybody knows your name, right? Where you matter and you belong. This is a youth ministry podcast. So tell us, why, I can go right off because I just talked about this recently, but, why is this important for us, in the youth ministry field, working, or even just working with young people, right? Out and about in the world. Why do we need to care about loneliness?
Well, as there's more and more research. My brother actually was involved in some of it, so nerdy. Like, we're all just nerds in my family, and it's awesome. But he did the research that the Surgeon General was quoting, Vivek Murthy, and he found the younger the person was, the more likely they are to report loneliness. So, silent generation, super connected, boomers, a little less, X, a little less. So the younger they were, the more likely, up to 58% at colleges. So,
and I wonder if that's a both and though, because one of the things that I see when I go and visit elders is it's not that they're not lonely, it's just that they won't tell you. And I think we're also getting some of the the new emotional maturity and anxiety is that I also work with a lot of college students who are quick to tell me about anxiety and loneliness and fear more than I remember saying even when I was a student. It's like, "How are you doing?" "I'm fine." Now I feel like sometimes I do have students where I'm like, "How are you doing?" They're like, "I'm terrified." And I'm like, thank you for your honesty.
Yes. They have language for it.
Yeah. So I think that's also a big part of it is that we're learning to ask questions and to actually respond honestly. So many times I feel like the answer to "how are you" is "I'm fine," because you don't want to know. So how do we also push ourselves to be the church that asks, "How are you?" Just fine?
Yes. I think structurally too, we tend toward, I was doing ministry in Minnesota, and it was always like there's hockey, always, all the time, every moment of the day. But so are you working around that and you ask less and less of the kid? But Jeffrey Hall, a researcher at the University of Kansas, you can look him up, he found it took 60 hours for someone to feel like someone is their friend. You can knock that out in a week of camp.
Yes.
No problem. Without even trying. So a bigger ask is actually better for the kid.
Okay.
And then it's, 200 hours before they're your ride or die call at 3 a.m. So you just really got to log it in.
Yeah. And
churches can do it. They're not weird. And you know what? If you don't, that's why the hockey team is their main, or whatever the thing is where you are.
Yep. Yeah.
They're getting the 200 hours with the hockey team.
Easily.
A group of people at a time and place with a shared purpose.
Well, and you said something earlier in your definition of organization, like when you're talking about the kind of organizational psychology stuff, like you said something about them knowing that they're a part of something. And I think that's also interesting for some of the conversation of loneliness is we always hear like, maybe there's a young person that wants to shovel for us. We're having a shoveling pandemic right now. We've got more snow than we got in the last couple of years.
Yes.
We need a young person to shovel. We need a young person to shovel. Well, okay, fine. You want a young person to shovel. I like the idea of that as well. But also, we need to engage a young person past the shoveling. Like and I think, and somebody even said out loud, and I'm lucky to have some really amazing voices that said, what if our ministry to that young person is paying them to shovel, but also like paying them well, not paying them bare minimum, not saying maybe they'll do it for free, but being the engager that says like, when you go to the movies later and you wonder how you paid for it,
yes,
that it actually is your church that said, thank you for the good work you do. We are a good paying experience because your labor matters. As opposed to, you're young, you should do this. My grandson will come over or my kid will be there. And I think that's the push that I want to put on myself too, is to say invitation can't be because nobody else will do it or want to do it. That doesn't cure loneliness. That probably feels even lonelier. Do you want to do the job nobody else wants to do?
Yeah. That feels like paying your dues and you have the least voice in the system and you end up doing it.
And then one day you'll be part of the community. Then you won't feel lonely. But right now you're going to feel lonely because you're a slave to what we do. And we do this with young people a lot, I think, and ask them to show up in spaces. And then we say, and then they'll come back when they're 30. Then they'll really be a part of it. And now I look at my church and I go, I've got one person that, is 30 and a couple other people that are, sitting above or below that. But
or each time there's a snowstorm, you've got 6 kids and you like gather and there's hot chocolate and it's like, we're going to attack our whole neighborhood with shovels. And you're like part of the cool kids if you're out doing it and you have some adults who are able to shovel also there in the mix and it's a whole event.
Right.
And it's not so separate. Yeah. Like a blizzard brigade.
I know it. You nailed it. Blizzard Brigade coming to Prince of Peace.
Yeah.
Get a t-shirt. People are going to be 80-year-olds will be saying, I want on the Blizzard Brigade.
Right.
You're not ready. You're not ready.
I mean,
my church in New York
quality
City,
control.
Yeah. My church in New York City serves thousands of meals a month.
Right.
And the kids that are involved are like all in. And it speaks to what you're saying, Alex, like they're a part of something and they can see who's eating the food.
Right.
They know exactly what they did. They're not getting the dumb job prep on Thursday after school. They're like out there handing out meals, doing the thing. Or groceries, whatever it is. But, it's asking people to do something of service that matters. And it's so obvious, like the shoveling. And not like, you cut out all these things that no one wants to do. For VBS, we need 300 butterflies. No.
Yeah.
Get a cry cut machine, whatever those are called.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your sense in, why we have so much loneliness? What's happening in our world?
I think moment to moment, it feels like our social media is filling some of that. So you're not sort of in the town square looking for the low-level social connections that we were all aware of losing in the pandemic. So we're getting that very low-level kind of dopamine from our phones. I think also we live in a very individualistic society and we have just put it into hyperdrive. So if you can get all your physical needs met without seeing anyone, then people do. It's like an effort to be out and about. And it's almost put on a pedestal, like, slamming my laptop shut till Monday and I don't have to talk to anybody. That's slightly older than youth ministry. But, people just sort of glorify being separate. And yet in the longer term, it's harder. Yeah, it's a lot of those things. Also, it occurs to me that we talk so much about like follow your bliss, follow your dream. It's so individualistic. And when we're talking to high school juniors and seniors, we can introduce more of our theology into a calling, because we don't just talk about what skills you have, what experiences you have. We say what serves your community. And it connects you back in. And we dropped that in the middle of the last century as like, what are you going to do with your life? No one's thinking about what serves their community. That's like not a part of the conversation going off to college or trade school or whatever you're going to do. Like, we have such an opportunity to shift that. I think the other thing that I rail against of why are we so separate, which has been a long haul, but we just have, I would say, hostile architecture. Like, we build cities for cars, not for humans. Yeah. And so it doesn't feel like you would walk around. Things are so far apart, it's almost dangerous to walk a lot of places. And so that separates you right out of the gate. And Minneapolis is still talking about when, they put the highway through and it tore apart a neighborhood, and people still talk about it. It was like in the 60s. And that's, when you hear of dramatic things happening in Minneapolis, it is generally around that area, because the community got torn apart by a highway, and it has never bounced in the way the older people are telling me that it had been. So just, we live in a country that keeps building. I'm like very big on walkable cities, as you can tell. So there's that too, which we can't control those things, but I think that's part of why it's happening.
Yeah, have you ever seen the movie Over the Hedge? I mean, it's it's like an older animated movie now.
Tell me.
And so the storyline is a riot.
Cute cartoon.
It's pretty hilarious. Alex is dying. He can't handle it that I brought this up. But the raccoon has to pay the bear back, and so the raccoon it convinces the animals outside of this like neighborhood, this suburb, to come with him into this magical like neighborhood, and he's going to show them where all the food is.
Okay.
And so as he's teaching them about the neighborhood, he sees there's a big Suburban driving by, and they're like, and this is how the people get to their places. And the animals are like, well, how many people fit in there? And he goes, just one, but right. Like, it's that sense of,
Yes.
There's some other funny. You thought I was going to talk about them worshiping the food, right? When I don't think I've ever watched it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
I think there's a moment before when someone says, have you ever seen the movie? You don't know what they're going to say. And I don't know. If you'd have said, like, predicted, Alex, I'd have been like, Terminator, Gangs of New York. I don't know. Like, I feel like I could have named off 1,000 movies. I never would have thought you were going for Over the Hedge. It just obliterated me in the moment. But what you described.
No one was lonely in Gangs of New York. They had the community.
This is true. This is true.
I mean,
they fought together.
To each other's homes.
But I mean, right? I mean, that's why young men get. I mean, you're laughing, right? But I mean, that's why they get pulled into gangs, right? I mean, there's that sense of family and belonging.
Yes.
I mean, you're known and you're cared for. And cared for. That's a but.
I just like
questionable term, but right. But that's the sense that they get,
or they're being brought into online rabbit holes of misogyny, etc.
Yeah,
that's what's happening now.
Oh,
Not
for
so much
sure.
walking the street,
especially the blaming generation. Like, I think my godson has a shirt. He was wearing it all around Las Vegas a couple months ago, and it was like worst generation. And I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, oh, I'm part of the worst generation. I was like, well, say more. And then he went into the kind of misogyny conversation of men aren't men anymore and da-da-da-da. And I was like,
grief.
And so we had to like unpack that. And I don't know that we got to the finish line, but it is interesting because, he's a college student, junior year, Iowa State. He's in a fraternity. So this is what him and his brothers, wear and say is that like we are striving to take back what it means to be a man. And I get nervous when we have those conversations, and we very much disagree on a lot of things, but I think there's a key component to that of if you're watching from afar and you don't have the right language in your system and you haven't been taught this, you do identify that suburbans are supposed to be driven by one person when actually they're giant cars to carry tons of people. Yeah. And yet now we live in a society where people say like, well, I drive a Hummer because I want to feel big, you know, and you're like, well, but why? And you're like, well, because it's safer. Well, yeah, okay, maybe on a snowy day, having a big vehicle to power through, but most days you're just driving on a road with a lot of power, but nowhere to put it.
Right. It's false sense of power.
How would you suggest, Dawn, that we even bring up the topic of loneliness? Because sometimes it has like a connotation to it. So like the older people will say, well, I'm not lonely. I got lots of friends, you know. But specifically with youth, in our context, how do you bring it up where it's not like, are you lonely?
Right. Because that's awkward.
Like, you know, you
raise
mentioned
your hand if you're lonely.
Raise your hand, everyone, if you're lonely. You mentioned before about talking about vocation and how you can talk a little bit about building community through your vocation or even outside of it. But how do you even bring it up with your youth group?
I think you are totally correct. You don't just say tonight's topic is loneliness. You weave it in. One thing would be talking about 3 levels of conversation. Like level 1 is, hey, how are you? You talk to the barista at a level 1. Level 2 is the person beside you at the pew. You know their name. You see them every week or whenever you come. You might have the follow-up, how was your soccer game? Level 3 is, what are you scared of? And even helping them see that there's those levels and then starting to think who in your life is that way. And you are creating situations where they can get to that level 3 and feel safe. And there's many ways to do that.
So what do you say? What do you say to the person that when you get to level 3, what are you scared of? They go level 2.
Okay, then you know where you're at, right?
Yeah.
And you're prepping them. I mean, you might even want to say what the level 3 topic is next week, so that an introvert has some time to come in feeling prepared. Or everyone's allowed to write for 3 minutes and put it all in a jar, you know, or whatever. So it's not, and everyone's allowed to be silent. Silence is always acceptable, or you do it in pairs and it's not so public, or, you know, there's ways to make it less light. Always helps, you know, candles, campfires. People are always more honest with less light.
I never thought of that. Yeah, if you just can dim the lights a little bit, maybe it's not like I saw you talking, but instead it's like I don't even know who's behind me. Like,
or if someone's eyes like start to get red, they know people can't quite see.
That's true.
So I think it's a abstract thing. Also, I attended a church, a Presbyterian church, during grad school that was just conveniently located, and they had a place in the back. Like the timing was such that everyone was going to like brunch after, which is like a whole lifestyle in New York, the brunch. And they had a place in the back of like, if you don't have a brunch date, join, you know, there's a guy standing there going, he'll take everyone to brunch. And the church, I think, was funding it sometimes even. Oh, wow. You know, but just like meet up for brunch by this column over here, and it's not awkward and it's crowded, and because there's very much a feeling of like everyone's with someone, everyone knows who to be with, and they all made the plan and the reservation for after church. So that kind of thing where you're just thinking, what if you were here and disconnected? Thinking ahead of where is the point. I think another just loneliness thing maybe for the whole congregation is sharing of the peace. You could teach your people to share peace with someone outside their family first. I would say the loneliness I am ever consistently in church is the first 25 seconds of sharing the peace, because they all turn to who they were already with, who they can talk to every day of their life and hug them. And I'm just standing there Yes. So that kind of thing too. You just don't know who has come in, who feels disconnected. I had a friend for a while. We would text each other during sharing of the peace. Just to have something to do.
Right.
And like go like, oh yeah, I'm at another church that is not acknowledging us. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great, like that one is, I want to keep that one for myself to say, yeah, don't just kiss your spouse.
Right.
So you're like hugging and kissing your spouse.
Whoa,
it's like,
wait a minute, back up.
what?
Who you're kissing? What?
Don't worry about
Who
me.
Alex is kissing?
Don't just the way you said, don't just kiss your spouse. Turn around to the people behind you.
Kiss the person behind you. We used to say greet each other with a holy kiss at the end of a worship in college, and I remember like once in a great while, a buddy and I would be like, mwah, like. But I think you're right on though. How do you teach people? You when you sit back down, the person you sit by will be the same people that you came with. So then when you sit back down and everything's calming down, then you say it. Versus
even if you start with your counsel and say, just put up your radar, your bat signal, and notice who looks a little unattached. And that's who you're going to first during sharing at the peace, even if you've got 12 people doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the, I'm often in congregations and they don't know, right? They don't know that I'm working with them
right,
as
course,
a consultant.
You're just a
Yep. And I just come, and there have been times where only the pastor has come and talked to me.
Yes.
Right. Nobody else. And it's obvious that I'm new, right? Is in a smaller context for sure. And, one of my things that I get on churches about is like, it is not the pastor's job to greet people. I mean, it's great if they do. We want them available before and after worship, right?
Right.
But it is your job. Like everybody has a part in that, not just the ushers, right? Like everyone should be saying, hey, I don't think I know you. I'm so-and-so, right? Like just part of that welcome and engaging,
Challenge them even to find out something to the point that they could connect them to someone else.
Yes.
We have a 90-year-old woman who will just come up and be like, you should meet so-and-so visiting. She was in Minnesota 14 years ago. I think you'd have something in common. Like, it is such a long shot.
That's awesome.
Sometimes.
She's a connector. Yep.
But she's like better than Sorority Rush, where you're, where you're passed along to whoever you have things in common with. Yeah. Like, if you've got someone with that personality, unleash them.
Yeah.
We do at my church. She's
You do?
like 94. She's
94?
No, she's 95.
Oh my gosh. Something in the silent generation, they're paying attention.
Ours is 90. Donna. She's just like, she'll just come up to you, and it's not the best connections, but it's still, and I think the answer is, if I say they were in Minnesota 14 years ago, the response is either I've never been to Minnesota, I've been to Minnesota, or I haven't been to Minnesota in a long time. Those are all conversations. You've never been to Minnesota? She's bringing her
to me because she knows I go to Minnesota.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, like it's whatever thread.
Maybe you know each other.
Right. Hey.
Right. Maybe you know her aunt.
I do love that when it actually works out once in a while, where you're like, wait, who are you? Oh, actually, no, I do know you. And then it's like, whoa, the world is really small sometimes.
It is.
So.
I have one more question, if that's okay. One thing I'm curious about, Dawn, is how do we support parents, grandparents, primary caregivers, right, with tools and things that they can do that help combat loneliness, right? So we're not contributing to it, but we're right giving our kids the language or whatever it might be. I don't want to.
I'm just now entering. I have a 3-year-old. I'm entering the world of like schools and free schools and activities, and there's a Quaker school near us, and they were so different on the tour because they said as soon as you're connected into a class, there are parents and there's playground dates so that all the kids can be playing separately, but the point is that the parents bring them, and they're giving tools and structure, and then at morning drop off, they have coffee, they want you to hang out. There's they're giving you the tools, and a church could easily do that and say, we have kits available, invite 4 people to a barbecue, and there's a game for you to play. you know, and easily just connect people together and no pressure, or don't even, you know, meet at a park if you feel like your house is not the right place to meet, and just hardly anything in common. The 90-year-olds can put the groups together or you could just invite. But, you know, Priya Parker talks a lot about, you know, gatherings.
Yes, I love her stuff.
Yes. I mean, if you're following her, you know exactly what I know, but that just any gathering for any reason is going to kick it off, and you don't make people overcommit. Come one time, we're going to just bring red food or some game to it. You know, we're all getting the original Betty Crocker cookbook, and we're going to try all the things with lard. I don't know, but just some angle, whatever, some weird thing. Right?
We're all going to watch Over the Hedge.
A lard party.
Yes.
And watching Over the Hedge.
And make a reason for people to connect, some kind of gamifying to it. You may know we have a new mayor. The whole world knows.
What?
But the biggest event, and where the tide really turned sort of on the ground, is that there was a scavenger hunt through all 5 boroughs, and tens of thousands of people participated. And it did turn out to be organized by Priya Parker, but no one knew. You know, she just was hired to like do a thing. And the end of it, there he was, Zoran Mandami. And the real kicker was everyone played a game, and then they all became friends, and then they went out and canvassed together with their new friends.
Yes.
And that was what put it over the edge. So it wasn't that hard, you know? It wasn't that hard to do.
I recommend that if you're not familiar with Priya Parker, guys, it is the book that started it is called The Art of Gathering. But now she has a website. I think there's a podcast too. And like, this is what she does is she plans events and she talks about like at a large scale, and then their baby shower, right? Like it's such a great, and it's so down to earth. I'd recommend it to congregations all the time to think about, why do you gather? What is your purpose, right? And how is that communicated before, during, and after anything that you do? I mean, it's such gold. I'm glad you brought that book up.
Yeah. And what is the purpose of like the third Sunday of July? Like, people aren't going to just come from obligation. Like, what is that service? What's going on? Why are we here?
Christmas in July at my church.
Okay, at your church, kick off to VBS, whatever. But, you know, being really clear on the purpose every single week. And
we have a everybody's birthday.
Oh.
And each table has is decorated for that month.
Nice.
And it has its own cake or dessert. And so you meet other people with your same month.
Oh, right.
Because you're like, oh, you're March.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know. So
That's
a lot of fun.
That's wild.
You know, I live in a huge building, and they pretend to have community building events, but it's like free bagels in the lobby. So everyone just grabs one and keeps walking.
Yeah.
That is not what community building is. You need a reason for people to stop and chat with each other. I think that is the kicker. Yeah, the key.
And that's I think that's also good to remind ourselves, like when you're talking about what is the third Sunday of, when you are talking to children and youth and families, if you can give them a thematic that doesn't always have to be scripture. I know my colleague friend, Pete Warmanen, he said every Sunday needs to be something. And it might be that, like, come see somebody's green pajamas. But if it's a conversation piece, it'll get people talking. And I think, you know, you sell yourself short when you think, it's people will come for the gospel. It's like, they do, but the gospel looks like a trillion different things. And so how they meet Jesus this week, you cannot guarantee, but you can make a plethora of opportunities, ready for them. So, we are running out of time, but Dawn, this has been awesome. Thank you for the conversation and kind of leading us through some conversations about loneliness. I think you gave us a ton of ideas and things that we can hold on to. I definitely will need to re-listen to this a few times and write down all the Easter eggs, but but thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And I do talk to churches all the time. So it's big picture, big purpose if anyone wants to have their own separate conversation about this.
Super.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we go, here are a few quick reminders and announcements. So the extravaganza, friends, it is 1 week away. There is about 500 of us who are going to St. Louis for days of spiritual renewal and learning together and building connections. If you're there, look for us, okay? We will be there. And yes, we will be doing some recording with special guests live from the E, which was fantastic last year. So we're so excited about that.
Andrew, please, Andrew. Please, Andrew.
All right. Okay. We're putting that out there, friends. But we'd love to see you. Also, don't forget to take a look at the network's Connect Journal. The journal publishes new articles roughly every 2 weeks, and they help you think, wonder, and dream about your congregation's ministry. We have 2 different series releasing right now. The first is a series of articles with learnings coming from the Formation Co-op. So check it out. And then the second one is a series of articles on how we process mission trip experiences with young people. We kind of hit on that a little bit in our podcast in the fall. So check out those articles at connectjournal.org. And lastly, thank you to all of you who are members of the network. Your membership makes things like the Third Tuesday Conversation, Oasis, Connect Journal. I can't talk, it's late. And Formation Co-op and Martin's List and Extravaganza and so much more possible. If you're not a member of the network, we encourage you to join. Our memberships are what make all of this possible, really. And we're grateful to be a community that cares for this important ministry. Alex and Veronica can't handle it because So thank you so much for listening, friends. New podcasts will be released on the 3rd Tuesday of every month. Be sure to like and subscribe so you receive them as soon as they come out. And of course, share them with your friends. Finally, all of our thanks and honor we give to Paul Amlin,
And
the
honor.
3TC
Thanks and
producer.
honor. Oh, great one. Mr. Amlin, we love you.
Yes, he is the producer for this podcast. So have a great week, you guys. We look forward to the next episode being released on the 3rd Tuesday next month. This is Jessica signing out.
Veronica signing out, everyone.
Oh, this is Alex saying see you later.